Hey, here's some more great news. It looks like Chuck Schumer's going to force a vote. What? Come on, get the F out of here. Hey, according to Reuters, Democrats' voting rights plan faces long odds in the U.S. Senate. Doesn't matter if that bill's not going to pass. Turns out Chucky the Schum is going to force a frickin' vote. By the way, I love how they go, Democrats' voting rights plan faces long odds in the U.S. Senate. It's not like the Democrats control the Senate or anything, is it? Here we go. Chucky the Schum is going to force a vote. Here we go. Want to hear it? Here it is.
Daniela, so where does this voting rights bill go from here? Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is going to force a vote on Tuesday for this voting rights package that's a Democratic priority in this Congress. But it's expected to fail because it doesn't have enough Republican support. So why would Chuck Schumer do this and force a vote on a legislation that's going to fail? Well, it's to send a message and put Republicans and Democrats on the record on this issue of voting rights.
So Chuck Schumer is forcing a vote on a bill he knows is going to fail so he can make a statement. I thought when you force a vote on something that's going to fail, it kills your movement. That's what Representative Pramila Jayapal lied about with a straight face. You know, with the bigger Pramila Jayapal smiles, the more she's lying, like most people. I thought forcing a vote would end the movement, Ron. I thought, what? I thought, what? Come on. Hey, now is not the time to force a vote. What are you doing? Now's not the time to force a vote, and he's doing it anyway. Boy, I wonder where he got the idea to force a vote, even if it's going to fail, to make a statement. Is Chuck Schumer being divisive, Ron?
Yeah, he's that radical Chuck Schumer.
I think Chuck Schumer's being. Well, if you force a vote, that's just radical, and that is divisive. Now is not the time. You know, that's the official shit lib chant, right? That's their. Whenever they get together, it's like, now is not the time. Yeah, now is not the time. Hey, what do we want? Incremental change. When do we want it? Well, in due time. Hey, where's Jayapal? She needs to tell us how this could stop our movement in its tracks. It's almost like forced to vote is politics 101.
Bingo.
When Chuck Schumer fights harder than the squad. Look at that. It's from Jimmy Dore's garage.
It's coming from inside the garage.
By the way, that is not affiliated officially with the Jimmy Dore show. I don't know who does that. But tip of the hat, good work. And there, of course, Jimmy Dore weighs in with the force the vote. So that's kind of amazing. Chuck Schumer going to force the vote because he wants to set a precedent. He wants to make a point. Even though he knows it's going to fail. The leader of the Senate going to force a vote. So now you know. So now do you need any more evidence, proof, or argument that everybody who was against forced to vote was against it in a bad faith way? Kyle Kalinske says that you can't question people's motives, which is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Of course, that's all politics is you try to figure out people's motives so you can then counter them. Of course, that's what it is. Everything. Kyle thinks the squad is so shitty because they're the biggest morons in the world. That's what he thinks their motivation is. Kyle Kalinske says they don't know how to do politics. They have Washington brain. That they don't know how to strategize. That's what Kyle Kalinske says, which is another way of saying they're the dumbest people ever. They're dumber than YouTube hosts. That's what he thinks their motivation is, that they're just dumb. They're not. They're not dumb. They know exactly what they're doing. And the definition of corrupt, Kyle again said that they can't be corrupt because they don't take corporate money. So by definition, I don't know if you know what the definition of corrupt is. The definition of corrupt is taking money and acting dishonestly for money or personal gain. That's the definition of corrupt. They're corrupt. They're not fighting for you. They're not fighting for the $15 minimum wage or Medicare for all or getting Nancy Pelosi out from being speaker or student debt relief or marijuana or anything. They're not fighting for anything for their own personal gain, and that is the definition of corrupt. So if you think they're not corrupt, you should look up the definition. Because that's what I did. And that's literally, the squad is literally the definition of corrupt. Look it up. Okay, and forced to vote was correct. And anybody who argued against it was a bad faith actor, because no one could ever at any time, at any moment, give anybody a reasonable reason to be against forced to vote. There wasn't one. And so now I know their motivations were in bad faith. And that's because that's what grown-ups do. You try to understand what people's motivations are for doing things that are inexplicable. And now it's explicable because they're corrupt.
Yeah, I'd like to think we all can agree that if your strategy makes you more timid than Chuck Schumer, there's a problem.
Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.